everyone, thank you for joining us for the latest instalment of Share to Buy's Expert Sessions. I am Jade from Share to Buy, and I'll very shortly be handing over to the lovely Julie and Violet here from Resi, who are going to be talking you through kind of navigating the process of buying a home and a little bit about kind of shared ownership and what they've been doing in amongst COVID-19 to kind of help all you buyers out there. I will only keep your attention for a couple of moments while I run through some housekeeping with you. For any newcomers who haven't been part of this webinar over the last few weeks, the general format is that the ladies here are going to be doing a presentation for you. And then at the end, we're actually going to open up to a live Q&A session where we're going to put your questions to them. So pretty much if our visiting experts are saying anything and you have any questions throughout the presentation, pop them on the right-hand side in a chat bar. There's a little chat bar there with 2 speech bubbles. You can pop your comment in there and we'll have access to them. And we're going to get through as many as we can at the end of the session. Also over on that toolbar, it's good to keep an eye out on the offers section and on the files section. We'll have a few things for you to download and some links to click through throughout as well. So keep an eye over there for some interesting content. And that's it from me. I'll see you at the end for the Q&A. Julie, Violet, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Jade, and thank you, Share to Buy, for having us today. My name is Violet Pugh. I'm a digital marketing manager at Resi, and I'm joined here today by my colleague, Julie Shail, who's our head of sales in our North region at Resi. And essentially, we work for Resi, and you may or may not know Resi, and Resi is the shared ownership brand by Metropolitan Thames Valley Housing. We specialise in shared ownership homes and helping people get on the ladder. But we also have a number of private sale homes that we sell as well. We've been around for many years, and it's our area of expertise, and we've had many thousands of home buyers get on the property ladder. And we hope, we can help you, all of you watching as well along the journey. So Julie and I are here today to talk about navigating your home buying journey through Resi. What is it like for us helping buyers? What does that process look like? And how can we help you? And we are going to be talking about some of our marketing bits and pieces, some of the things that we've been doing to evolve our marketing and communications to enable our customers to continue buying homes over COVID-19. And also we're going to be talking about our process from viewings to completion. And we're also going to be sharing some good news stories of some of our buyers that we've been helping out the last few weeks, and so you can see what that looks like. And at the end, we're going to be sharing a number of our homes that we have for sales, also for resales and new builds as well. So, what have we been doing at Resi? Well, for us, it's been a roller coaster. We're very customer focused, we're very customer centric, and ultimately what we have tried to do is adapt our marketing as quickly as possible to make it as easy for our buyers to continue to buy a home. For us, that has entailed a number of changes by way of improving our digital customer journey for our customers, and really stepping up our game to enhance that experience and making it possible. Because if you can't see the home, but we want you to still be able to buy that home, and you can see what it looks like, you can almost feel what it looks like, even though you're not there physically doing it. So a number of things that we've done are introducing 3D video tours of some of our homes. So these are existing show homes that we currently have available, and there's some examples that are kind of currently showing on the screen. And we've also introduced 3D virtual reality. So these are for homes that are still in construction. They're not quite ready yet, but we still want you to see what that looks like so you don't miss out. And we found that actually really, it's really helping buyers a lot, because they get a real sense of what it's like to buy a home. And Julie's going to talk about some of those successes just shortly, and what's that been like for those buyers that have actually bought a home off plan, just using virtual reality and the digital experience. In addition to those virtual realities and the video tours, we've also introduced a monthly cost calculator on our website. And the key thing for us is, again, giving our customers the opportunity to self-serve as much as they can on our website. Some of you might be familiar with the calculator that Share to Buy have also, which is very similar to ours. And the idea is, we still want you to carry out your official affordability assessment with one of our independent financial advisors. But the tool is there for you to, really help you kind of get an idea of what it's, what is it going to cost you before you even, as you're doing your research ultimately. And it's been a real success for us. And we've seen lots and lots of buyers really using this tool. It's been helpful. And as I said, we also deal with new builds, but we also deal with resales. So resales are second-hand homes, and we've had a lot of our sellers really getting stuck in and getting involved in wanting to help our buyers to showcase their homes. So lots of our sellers have been sending us videos of their homes, which we've advertised on our YouTube channel. So do check out the YouTube channel or our website, or just give us a call. We can talk you through it. Again, that's been really, really helpful for lots of buyers too. There's lots that we're doing at So Resi. I'm surely going to hand over to my colleague Julie, but I would highly recommend that you stay tuned on our Instagram page, on our Facebook page, on our Twitter page, if you want to stay on top of all things So Resi, and also check out our website. Over to you, Julie.
Thank you, Violet, and thank you for Share to Buy for having us today. Hi, everybody. My name's Julie Shail, and as Violet said, I'm the head of sales for our North region. So I cover an area from North London up to Nottingham. But actually, as an organisation, we cover a huge area from the South East, the whole of London, Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire, East Midlands and the Midlands. So we always have a huge range of properties, new build and resales for sale. I'll talk about some of those developments a little bit later. But I thought actually to start, it'd be worth me summarising how shared ownership works for those of you that don't know much about it, and talk about the headline process, the normal process that we follow. So first of all, I'd like to ask you to, when you get time, to go to our website, soresi.co.uk, and when you go on there, you'll find some really, really helpful videos that will explain each part of the process for you in very clear and simple steps. But I'm going to cover it a bit now. So shared ownership allows you to buy a share of your home with lower deposit, a smaller mortgage, and then your monthly payments on the rest. You could buy anything from between 25 and 75% share. And that means your monthly payments would be less than if you were buying the property on the outright market. You can buy more shares in your property whenever it suits you, and you can even buy outright in the end. So you buy a home that suits your budget. You pay a little as 5% on the deposit, so you don't have to save as much as you would need to buy on the open market. You make straightforward monthly payments, which also include your service charges and your payment to So Resi. And the service charges are the usual costs that you'd expect for running a home. Okay. And the more shares you buy, obviously the payment that you pay will be less, your So Resi payment. Okay. Now, our service that we normally offer is through our So Resi website. So if you're interested in a property through us, you would go to our website, where you would be able to view every single property for shared ownership. And that will direct you through to our fantastic customer inquiries team, who will then signpost you to the development that you're interested in. So you will eventually get through to one of our wonderful sales team. We would normally then invite you to one of our show homes that we have at all of our developments. And as part of that process, we would do a very quick affordability assessment with you to work out what you're looking for, what kind of property is suitable for you. And you would speak to one of our financial advisors, and we work with Metro Finance. So within 20 minutes, you're going to know whether that home is affordable for you. And if you're interested, we start the process from there. We will introduce you to a specialist solicitor who's very familiar with shared ownership, from a panel that we've worked with for many years. We will then do a reservation process where you can formally reserve the home, and we then start to collect some key documentation from you to support your application, such as proof of your salary, proof of your savings, to sort of support that application. Okay. At that point then, we instruct solicitors, and your solicitor will raise some normal inquiries about the home that you're buying, with a view to you exchanging contracts. And that process normally takes roughly about 28 days. And then if the home is ready, you're ready to move into, and your sales consultant is with you all the way supported by a specialist progression team who are working on the legal side, and we hope to get you into your property really quickly, really easily, and we do a home demonstration at the end so you know how everything works and signpost you to services that you might need after you've moved in. So that's kind of it in a sort of whistle-stop tour. So really, I'm just trying to explain to you how things have changed over the last 3 months as we went into lockdown at the end of March. So as we started our lockdown period on the 24th of March, and with many organisations, our offices and our sites had to close immediately. Our sites staff had to then relocate from home, as did all of our progression teams, and the whole of So Resi were working from home literally probably within a day, and talking to our customers again. As the restrictions have eased a little bit, we have taken a gradual measured approach to reopening some of our sites so that our customers and valuers were able to visit by appointment, strictly by appointment only. We've put the health and well-being of our customers and our staff at the foremost at everything that we've done. And at the centre of our planning process, we've developed a whole new set of guidelines and protocols to keep everybody safe. In fact, our last sales event on site was on the 15th of March in my region in Hertfordshire. And even at that point, we could sense that we were likely to go into lockdown, and we were making very, very quick adaptations to our process at that point. So on the 24th of March, all of our show homes were secured at our offices, and our team were back home working on site. Our progression team, who deal directly with customers once they've reserved, were up and running immediately. And their focus has been throughout this process on keeping those customers reassured. So not worrying about the process, not worrying about the deadlines, and supporting them through what has been a really, really anxious time for them. Even at that point, our staff were having to deal with the impact of COVID-19. So we've all understood that we've all been very, very kind to each other. Buyers, of course, were very unsure at that time what was happening with the housing market and the mortgage market. And certainly working with Metro Finance, we've been able to give our buyers that reassurance. And I'm really proud to say that we've had most people that have stayed with us on this journey. We actually managed to get 41 people moved into their homes during the month of March, as we were just about going into lockdown. And that was considered to be an essential transaction, and we got those people in very, very safely. And I'll explain a couple of things that we did there. So how did this impact actually on our sales team? So we had to quickly adapt new ways of working because we are used to working with customers on a face-to-face basis. The result was that we worked differently, and we adapted our way to work with our customers at a time that suits them, in a way that suits them. So we've done lots of Zoom meetings, lots of WhatsApp, and lots of communication over the telephone and via email. Our team, I have to pay tribute to everybody in the So Resi team for being so responsive and adapting with us as we've kind of worked our way through this difficult time. The great thing is that actually using the virtual tours, which Violet referred to, which unbelievably our marketing team were able to deliver within that first week. Plus we also had a little bit more amateur video that we took on our own phones as we were leaving our show homes. We've still been able to talk to our customers, and we've had the time to dedicate to them to explain the So Resi process in much more detail than we normally would, because we're rushing around on site. We've also adapted our digital process, so we can now talk to you, explain the process, do your financial assessment, take your reservation, and talk you through all aspects of that process online in a digital way, and take your reservation fee. And we feel that customers have had extra time to research our products and the scheme while they've actually been at home, and that's given them the confidence to reserve. So as lockdown started to relax in May, we did an individual risk assessment of all of our sites, and we actually managed to open 9 of our sites when the government gave us the guidelines that we could do that. So we have now brought in new requirements in terms of health and safety and social distancing. We have now adapted so that we will still keep this virtual tour and digital service, but when a customer really wants to view, we can now accommodate that. So we do viewing strictly by appointment when customers are invited to our show homes, and they have to adhere to our new criteria. So we offer them PPE, we manage social distancing, and actually the customer feedback has been that it is made them feel relaxed and confident in the service. We then, once they viewed, we actually go back to offering a digital service. So they literally just come, view the property, leave the site, and we're back on the phone with them again. We do limit appointments to household members only, and we're constantly watching the government guidelines and adapting as we need to. So in the last couple of weeks, we've now brought in protective screens for our sales colleagues. So if we do have that customer that really wants to have that face-to-face meeting, we can help them with that as well. Just in terms of being on site, for every customer that visits a So Resi home, we are cleaning up behind them, cleaning, sterilising. We have regular cleans of our show homes, so they're confident in terms of their health and safety. On the screen there, you can see a picture of two of our sales consultants in Stevenage, which is Andre and Ellis being on the right-hand side. And they were doing some of our first completions during lockdown, and we adapted that as well, because normally we would be with that customer in their home, showing them how everything works and doing all the post-completion work. We couldn't do that, so we had to make sure their homes had a deep clean before they moved in. All their welcome gifts were placed in there in advance. We sanitised their keys and we opened the doors for them and let them walk in on their own. And we then took to the phones and then helped them with sort of video tours that we'd taken, video footage that we'd taken of how the boiler works. So again, that really has gone pretty well. And then what we do is we have our customer care team then contact that customer within a few days of moving in, just to make sure they're settled and signpost them to the service that they need. Okay, so we thought we'd share some really good news stories, and actually these pictures were taken in the first week of lockdown and pretty much say sort of tell a big story of social distancing. At So Resi, we love having photographs of our customers, and with their permission, we love to use them to share some good news stories. So at the top here, we've got Katie and her partner who moved in just before Easter, and Katie works for the NHS. She was very concerned that she was going to be working flat out for the near future. So we were actually able to bring her sales completion forward by a week and helped her move in. We would have loved to have got a photograph in her home, but we had to make do with the car park instead. And then below we've got Jamie on his balcony. He moved in just before Easter, and Jamie's story was that this was his first home. He was living with his family, and he realised that even in week 1 or 2 of the lockdown, it was pretty crowded. So he was delighted to get his home, and we have since spoken to him, and he has now had the chance to meet some of his neighbours as the lockdown has relaxed. It must have been really hard for him though, moving into a block where a normally bustling development of apartments in Stevenage was so eerily quiet. But again, both of them are delighted to be in their new homes, and we're really pleased about that. And we're delighted that with relaxation and with an improvement in the mortgage market, with lenders coming back on board, our valuers are back on site, and we hope to have back to near normal levels of sales this month and July. Okay.
I agree with you, Julie. We at So Resi, we absolutely love a happy buyer Instagram moment, and it's kind of probably the best part of our job, isn't it, when we hand over those keys? And we definitely love to share it on our social media accounts. So you never know, this could be you. For anyone listening looking to buy a home with So Resi, with your permission, of course. As I said earlier, we are very customer centric, we're very customer focused, but don't just take our word for it. We thought it'd be quite fitting to share some of our wonderful feedback that we've been getting from customers as you're doing your research. You know, you're looking online for homes to buy. I'm sure across lots of other housing associations as well. But for us, you know, we have the proof is in the pudding. You know, we have some reviews that we have on Trustpilot. Check them out. And we also have some reviews that we have on Google. We love to hear some good news stories. So even if you haven't bought a home for us and you've just had a really good interaction with us within our customer service team or with our sales team, let us know, get in touch. You know, we'd love to share your review with us as well. Back to you, Julie.
Okay, so we thought we would just share just a very small sample of some of our fantastic Resi developments. So this is in Brampton Park, which is up in, I'm just going to check the slides actually, forgive me. This development is in Huntingdon, which is in Cambridge, just on the A1, which is a big area of growth. The house that you're looking at, you could buy via private sale, or you could buy for shared ownership, and its full value is 415,000 for a 4-bedroom double-fronted house with parking, and some of them have garages. So you get a lot for your money just outside London. You can be in London, by the way, in 55 minutes, and you're about sort of 45 minutes from the M25. Minimum shares at this development, and we actually do have 2, 3 and 4-bedroom homes there. Minimum shares from 35%. Our next development is in Clapham Park in southwest London. Now, Clapham is part of an ongoing major regeneration development that will provide over 2,000 homes in the end. And this is one of our shared ownership blocks where we have 1 and 2 bedroom apartments going for 25% equity at 109,250. Again, a fantastic location, zone 2 in London. You're about 15 minutes from Clapham Common. Some amazing green spaces, such a vibrant and bustling town. Our next development is in Totteridge. Now, Totteridge is in North London, near Whetstone, and this is about a brisk 5-minute walk from Totteridge and Whetstone tube station, which is on the Northern Line. We've only got 2 units left here. We had about 30 units originally, so they've gone really, really well. Lovely part of town. And we're selling 25% shares there from 137,500. And finally, for me, this development is in Welwyn Garden City, which is one of the Garden City towns off the A1, which you may have heard of. It's not far from Hatfield. A lovely, lovely town. Again, 35 minutes from central London. So really, really popular with commuters and local people alike. We have 1, 2 bedrooms for shared ownership, and we do actually have 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments there for private sale. For shared ownership, the prices start from 53,750, and for private sale, you can have a duplex 1 bedroom apartment from about 290,000. But again, all fabulous developments, and you can find everything you need and virtual tours on our website.
We also have homes in the southeast of the country. So this is Resi East Moseley. It currently only has a few homes remaining. So if you're interested, I would suggest you hurry and give us a call and check out our website. Resi East Moseley has 2, 3 bedroom houses and apartments, and it's in Surrey. Prices start from 170,625, and it's available for a 35% share. The specification is top of the range. It's really in a beautiful part of town that's steeped in history. So if this is your cup of tea, I'd suggest you give us a call. We also have homes available in Bracknell in Berkshire. This is Resi Mill Park. We have more homes available on our website, but this is just one of them that we currently have, which is recently launched, and it's offering 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, and is situated in a really great location close to local amenities. It's perfect for first-time buyers, young couples, and perhaps single occupants looking for a little bit more space. Maybe that office space might be quite useful right about now. Prices start from £90,000, and this is for the minimum 40% share as well. We also specialise in resales. As we said earlier, new build is just a small part of our, or a part of our portfolio, but resales also forms a big chunk of that too. We have homes all over the country, from London all the way up to Nottingham. This is just a quick snapshot of what we currently have available, but we have lots more on our website. So do definitely check out soresi.co.uk. We have a dedicated team of resale consultants who are happy to help you, whether you're looking to buy a home for resales or whether you're looking to sell your current Resi home as well. Here's some details. Get in touch. We're at 0208 607 0550, sales@soresi.co.uk. If you have any further questions about any of our properties that we currently showed you today, or if you have any questions just surrounding our offering around resales, staircasing, our Resi Plus and new build homes, we'll be happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, that was amazing. Thank you so much, guys. That was really informative, loads of information, and great to actually see so many schemes outside of London as well, actually.
Yeah.
I think we hear a lot on our side of things as Shared to Buy that it seems very London-centric,
Right.
the shared development. So it's so nice to know kind of Hertfordshire, Berkshire, all those kind of areas are still just as prominent for shared ownership.
And actually, it's amazing what your money can buy you just an hour out of town. And you know, we go up as far as Nottingham, where you can buy a 2-bedroom home for 200,000. So it's amazing to work in an organisation where we have such a broad range of homes that customers can choose from. And we're seeing quite a lot of people thinking about moving out of London now. You know, after being at home for 3 months and thinking about more space and outside space. So again, come to our website.
No, that's absolutely amazing. There's a real spectrum of different types of properties as well. I mean, we have had tons of questions coming in for you both. So thank you everyone that's their questions so far. What I will say now is there's so many, we're not going to be able to get through all of them. So we're going to pull particularly interesting questions or ones that we're getting a lot of, but any that we don't get to answer, over the next couple of days, we'll actually be working with Resi to answer them and put them up on the Shared to Buy website. So we have a whole section dedicated to Q&As that we get from these webinars. So if you don't see yours being answered today, don't worry, we will answer it just in the next couple of days online. And then you can always touch base with us or Resi directly too if you have any further questions. And a few people have asked as well, because I think there was a couple of audio errors from a few different attendees. This session is going to be recorded. It's being recorded now. So after this finishes today, it will be going live on the Shared to Buy website. So you can actually rewatch it in case you missed anything as well. So we'll jump straight into it because I've definitely talked too long there. But here we've had tons come through. So we'll start with one that we've seen quite a lot in the lead up on social as well, which is basically what kind of deposit does a buyer need for a shared ownership home?
Okay, I think really a minimum deposit needs to be 5%. And there are various lenders out there. I mean, I think the last count, there are at least 28 lenders out there specialising in shared ownership. So really minimum 5%, but we would always invite you to speak to our specialist financial advisor, and we work with Metro Finance. So happy to put people in touch with them.
Fab. So just so people know, that's 5% of the share that you're purchasing. So
yes, of course, forgive me. Yeah, 5% of the share that you're buying.
Which cuts down the deposit a huge amount, actually, especially if you're
absolutely
London. The
absolutely. So very easily, and there is actually an affordability calculator on our website. So if people wanted to do a kind of headline check of what's affordable for them, and I know that's on the Shared to Buy website as well. So you know they've got options there. So always go in and play with those calculators, and it will give you a really good idea which way you're going.
Yeah. So I think it's arguably one of the biggest positives of shared ownership is the deposit. Yeah. I think because it's such a big blockage for people, especially first-time buyers looking on the ladder. So knowing it's 5% share that you're purchasing, not the full market value. And interesting that you touched on kind of who is offering mortgages, because we had a question here from Tom asking that. So exactly that, like a lot of the big names, so Nationwide, Leeds Building Society, Barclays, they all offer shared ownership mortgages. So it's not a couple of like obscure names that you've never heard of. They're the big boys. No. As well. No, and over the last couple of weeks, the situation is I would say nearly normal, and our financial advisors, Metro, advisors that there is actually no barrier to accessing a shared ownership mortgage. So that's great news. And yeah, in the first few weeks of lockdown, the situation was different, but it seems to have recovered over the last 2 to 3 weeks. And just going off of what you said there, Julie, actually, Abigail has asked, where is the monthly cost calculator on the So Resi website? I think she had a look and couldn't spot it. Do you know where that?
If you go onto any of the listings, any specific property that you're looking at, so the calculator is very much tailored to the costs associated with that property. It's available there.
Fab. Hope that helps, Abigail. If not, drop us a line afterwards or drop So Resi a line and we can point you.
Just give us a call. We'll be happy to help you.
So our next question is kind of a two-parter, really. So we've had Lorraine and Pablo get in touch asking this. Lorraine has asked, basically, is it difficult to sell your shared ownership home? And then Pablo has followed that up with, is it more difficult to sell if you actually have a larger share? So is it between selling 25% and selling 80%?
Sure. I mean, I would start by saying first that normally within the shared ownership product, the housing associations have what's called a nomination clause. That means that we get the chance in the first, usually 8 weeks, to find a buyer for you. And all the details are contained in the information that we send you and in your lease. So we have a dedicated resales team that Violet referred to, and we showed some properties on the list. So we have always got a steady list of people that are interested, and we use the same methods to market those homes through our So Resi website or Rightmove, and in some cases we're almost holding lists of interest for people that may have missed out the previous time. You know, buying or selling property can be sometimes really, really smooth and sometimes not as smooth. So, but I would say, and I was a shared owner previously myself, I found it really straightforward to sell my home. I owned 50% at that time, which you might consider to be higher than the entry share, and there was demand. We work with the leaseholder and get them to help us with photography. Over the last few weeks, leaseholders have been absolutely brilliant in sending in their videos of their homes, and our specialist resales team will be able to give them guidance. So the straight answer is it shouldn't be a problem. With a higher share, again, we've got high demand for it, but if we're not successful, which is unlikely, highly unlikely, you are then free to go onto the open market to sell the share if you wish to yourself. And I won't go into the detail of buying more shares and that, but I'd maybe ask our customer to talk to our resales team.
That's fantastic, and knowing that team is there to kind of help them through the process, because first time buying a home is very overwhelming. So I imagine first time selling a home is just as overwhelming. It's all still very new to a first time buyer who's in their first property. So that's really good to know there's people there that can help them.
But we've got really straightforward information and clear literature on our website that we send to people to really help them step by step of that process. So tell us not to worry.
Then we have a question from Amer, who has asked, what are the rules of adding extensions or doing works on a shared ownership property?
Okay, so first of all, it depends on the property that you're buying. You would always have to come back to your landlord, your housing association, to ask permission to do any works that you want to do. Now, there's a difference between doing structural works that alter the fabric of the building. So if you were buying a shared ownership house and you're going to be there for, you know, you're buying a home for life, or you're buying a home where you intend to buy more shares in the future, it's a different decision that you want to make as opposed to buying an apartment, which you're then restricted on what you can do structurally. But in terms of your home, it is your home, and under that reasonable banner, you can actually do what you want to do with that property in terms of making minor alterations and decorating. Again, that's all within our information, and we would give, if you're not sure what you can and can't do, ask us and we'll clarify it for you.
I'd also add it's worth checking the terms of the lease as well. That's where it's, gives you that real detail information that's there as a guidance. And for us, we have a dedicated property management team, or what's sometimes known as a home ownership team. So that they're there to kind of guide you through that process and really give you, yes or no answer what you can and can't do. So it's really important to understand that right at the forefront. And lots of housing associations, I'm sure, would have a property management team as well who are able to do the same thing too.
Brilliant. So we have a question from Nicola, which is, I've been in my current shared ownership property for nearly 30 years and want to downsize. Is it possible to move into another shared ownership home?
Yes, she can. She would have to go back through the same, we call it the apply to buy registration process. So she would need to speak to her current housing association, because you need to, we're obviously looking normally at people, the scheme is for people who are first-time buyers, people returning to the market, people downsizing, so she would be included in that. She would go through exactly the same process. It's just about the timing and whether the housing association that she wants to buy for is able to hold on to the property. So my advice is always to speak to your current landlord, go through the motions of getting your home valued, understanding what the demand is for your home, and start that process. But again, it's too many variables to kind of cover in one sentence, but the answer is it's absolutely doable.
That's great, and I guess that applies to upsize as well as downsizers.
Yes.
So bed owners who are in a one-bed flat and are expecting a baby, or have got together with their partner, want a two-bed, and I guess it's just a flagging that you just still need to fit within the eligibility criteria.
Absolutely.
So under the threshold, you still need to not own another property, and part of that will be selling your current shared ownership home.
Correct.
So kind of understand.
So the timing of that transaction is important, because obviously you've got to have dealt with the transaction selling of your existing property before you can buy another one with Resi.
Yeah, fantastic. So we've had an interesting question from Charlotte, which is, can you run a business from a shared ownership property?
Oh,
good question.
Oh. Depends on what kind of business it is, but I mean, let's be honest. I think a lot of us are working from home these days. So again, it depends on what kind of business it is. But we've got, a lot of our people, I'm sure, running their businesses from home, whatever that may be. The whole of Resi are working from home at the moment, and I'm sure lots of people run their businesses from home. But again, depends what it is. If you are looking at a business that has, I'm just thinking of a random example. Somebody that runs a business with vehicles, you have to be mindful that there may be terms in the lease that you have to adhere to. So that might relate to, you've only got 1 or 2 parking spaces and you can't park a certain type of vehicle on it. But if you were, I'm happy to speak to, what was our customer called here?
Oh, this was Charlotte.
Happy to speak to Charlotte, and rather than go through detail here, but the answer is yes.
Yeah, we've been asked this actually in one of the previous webinars, and I think something that came up was exactly what you said. It just depends on the business, because if, say, a beauty therapist and you use a lot of kind of chemicals, that kind of thing that could potentially cause an issue, whereas actually alcohol side of things doesn't so much. So I guess it's all a matter of just discussing with yourself, making sure that you're being very transparent about that from the get-go, I guess.
Absolutely. And not having any impact on your neighbours, which is really important, which is, so if you're buying one of my houses in Brampton where you've got space galore and, garages and drives, as opposed to an apartment in central London, different circumstances would apply.
Yeah.
We would certainly not try to restrict anybody unnecessarily.
Fantastic. So it's an interesting question, actually. Lorianne has asked, when in the process should you speak to a broker, and when should you kind of call in the services of a solicitor? So it's a really, really good question.
Yeah, and some of our customers want all of that information up front, and we can have that. So we work, as I think I mentioned earlier, we work with Metro Finance, who are a specialist financial advisor and independent, who can search the whole of the market for shared ownership mortgages. So if you're not able to get the information you would like from the affordability calculator, it's a no obligation call. And actually, when customers come and view, we don't restrict anyone viewing our homes. So people can come by appointment, and if they're not sure what they can afford, they can have a very quick informal chat, which usually takes maximum of 15 minutes, where with just some basic information, our financial advisors can give you an indication of what's affordable for you. It's not until you have provided all the documentation and you are absolutely happy that you want to go ahead and then apply for that mortgage that you then need to provide some information to them. In terms of a solicitor, again, we have a panel of people that we've worked with for 15, some of them 20 years, who we trust, who know the scheme inside and out. Again, a no obligation conversation with them can take place at any time. They're very informal. In fact, over the lockdown period, I think they've been WhatsApping our customers and sort of having those informal chats. So again, no problem at all. And they can talk to you about their services and what their fees are and what sort of savings you're going to need as part of your transaction.
Is it fair to say that, customers don't have to use our solicitors? Obviously, we make a recommendation based on our own experience, in knowing that they can provide a good service, they understand the product, but, it's worth also doing your own research online just to make sure you make the right decision for you, but they're certainly there for you to kind of give that guidance.
That's great. That's great to know as well. We're sorry, we're getting so many questions through, and you're sorting through them, so we really appreciate it. One I've seen coming up a lot is basically how much money should people be putting aside for the fees associated with buying a home? So once you've done your deposit and you've catered that, what kind of cost should people be kind of factoring?
Yeah, I think just broadly, we always, well, as much as possible is the answer. But I think really you're looking at sort of between, I don't know, £3,000 and £5,000. That would cover, because obviously you've got your deposit, your 5% deposit. You've then got your legal fees, your moving in costs. There may be some fees associated with your mortgage product, and obviously you want a little bit left over to actually move in with your removal costs. But again, it depends. You have got some instances to pay stamp duty. So again, that chat with your solicitor is a really good idea, because they'll be able to work out what your stamp duty liability is if you have to pay it, and give you a really, really good idea of what you're going to need.
Guess what? We have a handy explainer video on sales. Okay, that explains all the costs. So make sure you check that out too.
That's great. So I think we've got time for a couple more questions, because I know we've had you guys talking for a very long time. So we'll go in with Damaris has asked, do properties come furnished, or does it depend on your kind of personal contract with Resi?
Okay, so all of our homes, there are variations in the specification. They all come fully carpeted, and in the main they all come with fully fitted appliances, which are usually integrated. So you have your oven and hob, you have your fridge freezer, you have your washing machine, and sometimes if we're really lucky, we have our dishwasher. But we aim to have the best specification possible. Some of the homes that we develop for ourselves, and some of them are bought in conjunction with another provider. So we're always trying to do that, but there are no other furnishings apart from what I've mentioned. But yeah, you literally can open the door and move straight in with your stuff, which is fantastic.
And sometimes we may have some incentives that we offer, don't we, Julie, on some developments, which is far between, but we have had in the past, you know, where we've had buyers come in, they absolutely love the furniture, and we try and help.
The show home furniture.
Possible. So it's it's a seamless move, and it kind of it just feels how they've seen it as advertised. But yeah, get in touch. It's not as Julie says, it's not the norm, but we occasionally might have some friends where we can accommodate that.
There are also organisations that kind of help with furniture packs. So sometimes people are moving in their home for the first time, and need some sort of guidance, and we can put people in touch with show home designers who can help them.
That's great. And what I will say to anyone watching is actually keep an eye out for those exact incentives that Violet was talking about. So some different housing associations run stuff all the time, and it could be down to, like money towards indoor plants, or actually furniture deals on show homes and stuff like that. And actually keep an eye out, because you never know. And whether you're on the housing association's listing, so via Resi directly, or on Share to Buy, just have a look through the description and see if they've kind of noted any big incentives, because every little helps when you're moving. And the money you don't spend buying your new kind of cabinet could go towards like a little feast for you on your first night and a bottle to celebrate. So that's always really nice. If you can find anything like that, then that's brilliant. Going back to the cost side of things, Helen has asked, what are the costs associated with buying more shares, and how is the cost of that share worked out? Okay, fine. So buying more shares sometimes is called staircasing, which people will be familiar with, and you can do that whenever you want to, and when you can afford it. So when you first buy your Resi home, our financial advisor will work out what your minimum share is. So it may well be that we're offering 25%, but you can afford to buy 40% or 50%. So whatever you start from, and that is always based on the market value of your home, and that applies again when you decide to buy more shares. And as Violet mentioned, we have a team that can support you with that, and you can buy shares as often as you want, and we also offer Resi Plus that I'm going to ask Violet to talk about. There are costs associated to do that, administrative costs, but again, it's always going to be based on the current market value of your home. The more shares you buy, the payment that you pay for Resi will then decrease. Violet, will you just quickly explain Resi Plus for us?
Sure, absolutely. So I guess with traditional staircasing, there's solicitors' fees that might be involved, and valuation fees involved. and also you'd have to buy a minimum chunk of 10%. So we, as a housing association, we have an exclusive product that we only offer that's called Resi Plus, and essentially enables buyers to buy a 1% share of their home over a 15-year period, and with no additional cost for solicitors' fees or valuation fees. So what that means is you have more flexibility to buy smaller chunks that are more manageable depending on your affordability and what you can and can't do, and also it's spread over a much longer period. So it might mean, you know, dipping into your savings rather than having to remortgage as you do when you're traditionally staircasing.
That's great. And I think we'll probably end on this question, just because, again, you have been talking for a very long time and you've got for a lot. But Mariama has asked about pretty much the other costs for shared owners, specifically around those of repairs.
Okay, so when you buy a Resi home, you are paying for your service charges. And sometimes if you buy an apartment, within that service charge, there will be what's called a reserve fund, or sometimes called a sinking fund, and that sometimes goes towards repairs on the building. In terms of the properties, you are responsible for repairs in your own home, so for houses and inside apartments, but obviously for apartments or communal areas, those costs are associated with the service charge that you're paying. In terms of when you buy your first home, it comes with 2 warranties. It comes with an initial minimum 1-year warranty. So we pride ourselves on making sure our homes are, when they're handed over to us from our contractors, they are without any issues at all. But sometimes things don't always go to plan. But in the main, they come over and we have a customer care team that check that the properties are what we actually expect. And then we make sure that when customers move in, they have that very, very detailed home demonstration. But if things go wrong, you have a 1-year warranty, and that can cover the things that you might expect not to go perfect in the first year as a home is brand new. But you also have a 10-year warranty, which is normally from a kind of National Health, so NHBC, or a similar provider that will give you that comfort if anything goes wrong. But again, we don't expect things to go wrong with properties, but if you are buying shared ownership, you do have to be aware that you are responsible for those day-to-day repairs that you would expect as any other homeowner.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic to know. I think it's really important for people to be aware of that as well.
Yeah,
I think we're going to call it a day there, guys, but thank you so much for the presentation, for the Q&A. Amazing job. So to reiterate to everyone that asked a question that we didn't get to, I'm really sorry, we've just run out of time, and there's so many of you. I can see questions flooding in, but I promise you, we're going to work through them. We're going to work with Violet and Julie and the Resi team. We're going to get them answered. And what we'll do is we're going to send you a follow-up email with a link to where you can access all these kind of questions about affordability and leasehold and mortgages. We've got all that available for you. So keep an eye over the next couple of days. We'll send you an email and you can have a look there. There's going to be a recording of this session going live on the Share to Buy website later this evening. So that'll be there for in a couple of hours time, ready for you to kind of go back through, take any notes that you missed, see any sections that you might have lost connection for. Other than that, we are going to be back on Tuesday, so the 16th of June with JLL, and you can keep an eye on sharedtobuy.com and all of our social media channels for registration links. And once we close down this webinar, I believe a few bits are still going to stay live to the right-hand side, so you can still access the downloadable content from Resi, and you can still access the link directly to their website where you can find out all about all these amazing shared ownership homes that they offer. So in the meantime, thank you again to everyone who's watched. Thank you again to Violet and Julie for joining us. And
thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.